Let's start off with you people being the new leaders of UJA, the Uganda Journalism Association. You're coming at a very difficult time.
True.
When many journalists together with the citizens had lost hope and trust in the association. So moving forward, for these 2 years that you'll be in office, what do you plan on doing?
Thank you so much, Dara. Good morning, NTV, and good morning, viewers, especially the media industry. Kazibwe Bashir Mabzira, President. The 2 years ahead of us, of course, we are looking at ways of reviving the association. Like you said, the association had lost the glory. It had lost the trust and hopes of the people. This is exactly what we are coming in. This is exactly what we are going to be looking at in the next 24 months. Of course, it's not going to be a walk through a park. We understand there are several challenges ahead of us. Already roadblocks are put in our way even before we swear in.
Right.
But the first thing is going to come in terms of bringing the trust within the community, the media fraternity. How do we bring about the trust is ensuring that we reach out to the people across the country. One of the things on our agenda is registering all people in the media industry. You are working on TV, you are working on radio, you are working on social media, newspapers, name it. We are going to reach out to these guys and talk to them good about the beauty of being a member of UJA. That's one. They need to be members. They need to own this association. The challenge was, in the last couple of years, 5-10 years down the road, the association was reduced to a Kampala-based briefcase organization, just a handful of a few people. This is what we are coming in to fix. Journalism should be felt across. Members of the Fourth Estate should own UJA. It's not about Bashir, it's not about Mercy, it's not about the 26 guys that are on the executive. It's about you, Dara. It's about those guys that are always in the field. We talk about those guys in the newsroom. We talk about the camera person. For as long as you are working in a journalism industry, this is the message we are bringing to you. Not just coming to you, telling you about UJA. There are several benefits that guys should be ready and looking out for in regards to joining us. This is not about the people that were elected, it's about the people that are in the industry of media.
Right. You're talking about trying to revive the trust, regain the trust and the glory of the association and journalism in the country as a whole. But Mercy, I think you can handle this. How then do you expect to get to this point? Because I'm sure for many journalists watching right now, the big question is, if I join the association, what next? What do I stand to benefit as a journalist?
Yes, thank you, Dela, and good morning, viewers of NTV, especially the morning show. My name is Namirembe Masilugemwa, the new elect Vice President, Uganda Journalism Association. Basically, what we want to start with is to make sure that the mindset of all journalists in Uganda changes, because most people, they had a negative perspective towards this association. You and I, when we come together, I know we can make UJA somewhere. We want to call a stakeholders meeting. Whoever is wishing UJA well, we want to invite the UCC, we want to invite our fellow journalists, the NGOs, the government. Let them come on board. Let us be with our fellow journalists. Let us get ideas from our fellow journalists. We see how we can take this UJA to the next level. I know there are very many people who are interested in helping this organization, in helping this association from this step where it is to the next step. And we expect to have a forum, because when we have these forums with our fellows, I know we can make a SWOT analysis, and we get even the measures from these forums. They'll give us the very ideas, they'll give us solutions towards what we can do, how we can run this UJA. And we had talked about the circle. People are saying, how are we going to benefit from this association? I tell you, you're going to benefit. We were not lying. I and Kazibwe, we talked about the association. This association is not for us, the two. It is for our fellow journalists. We want to improve the welfare. And if you get that card, you will not just sleep with it at home. This circle is going to start. People asking very many questions. Where are you going to get the money? We shall get the money because people are interested in funding the association.
All right, we are going to get into the funding later on, of course, as we move on. But the other big question, of course, this is an issue that was brought about by the outgoing president, Mr. Robert Kagoro. He said that over the years, actually since the association was founded 54 years ago, and of late the association has been struggling in this light, in the light that the elite journalists, them that are professional, them that have been trained, are shying away from joining the association. And of course now we're getting to a point whereby the association is struggling, that many members, many journalists, the journalists that are in there don't have the training. So there's a gap of training and mentorship. So moving forward, how then do you plan on attracting the elite journalists, them that are trained, them that are professional, to just come back on board and hold the hands of the new journalists that are coming on board as well?
This is a big challenge. Actually, when we are coming to stand in these polls, some of those guys were telling us, because we don't go into that thing, it's going to taint and spoil your image. And we are like, no, it's not about me. It's about that, what you call that thing. It's about Uja, what you think is rotten. Members of the media fraternity, of course, people might want to classify elite journalists, SC journalists, field journalists. We don't believe in that. We believe in collective responsibility. This responsibility that's going to be able to push us further and ahead in pursuit of the dreams and aspiration of having a Uja that works and functions for all of us. Moving forward on your very question, how do we attract these guys? We are going to talk to them. First, we need to understand why they are shying away. When we get the reasons as to why they shy away, we need to bring them on board. Secondly, the media fraternity, of course, as you know, is filled with a number of people. Some of them lack skills to up the game.
Correct.
We are going to engage several practitioners that we think are much more skilled than we are, or some people are, to interest them in training us. Training sessions are really a must-have. When we are in journalism school, I went through IU. The things I was taught in class are quite different from what happens in the field.
Correct.
We need to understand the dynamics in the media industry. The way you can appreciate that is through mentorship, through career guidance, through several workshops that we are looking at organizing. These workshops are going to come in handy in addressing a number of the challenges some of our guys, some of our colleagues are facing, are having. For instance, of course, we are working in the 21st century. The media has kind of been revolutionized. A lot of things have happened, changing at a very fast pace. We need to equip ourselves with these skills. And how do we get the skills? By tapping into the resources of those seniors, by tapping into the abilities, the skills, and the magnanimous nature of skills that these guys have acquired over the years. Of course, the media, we are having a challenge of the new generation. Most of the colleagues with whom we are put in power, the reporters, we are almost of the same age. We must appreciate that. We must tap into the skills, into the experience of those senior people in the industry who have been there, who have seen it and done it.
Let me ask you, because timelines are key, especially now for you that are coming in office at a very challenging time. Timeline is key. You just have 2 years. So what's the timeline? What timeline are you giving yourselves for journalists now watching, for them to be able to know that by the end of X amount of months, we'll be receiving training? What's the target in terms of timelines?
The first 100 days, counting from Friday, because that's when we are coming in office officially, we are looking at the first 100 days, and the following are going to happen, God willing. Registering all members in the media fraternity. From Monday next week, forms are going to start moving around media houses to understand how many people we have. Within those 100 first days, we are going to look at ways of at least having 2 workshops. We cannot promise much because we have financial issues, organizational structures. You need to contact people from Gulu. At least we should be looking at least 2 workshops. One in Kampala and several others in regional, in across the regions.
2 workshops, how often?
Within the 100 first days.
Okay.
Within the first 3 months.
All right.
We look at least a minimum of 2 workshops. One in Kampala, and the other workshops, our workshop will be put in Masaka, journalists working in Mukono, in Mitiana. All these, one, to regain the lost trust of the members. Secondly, to bring those the colleagues in the industry on a common room, under the same roof, to appreciate what we are looking at. Again, in the 100 first days, we are going to engage several stakeholders, from religious leaders, cultural institutions, non-government organizations, the government house of political parties. We must engage these political parties across the spectrum, because these are the guys we are getting news stories from. We are going to contact the much more wider public to interest them. These things, my dear Dela, they are happening the 100 first days, and we will be judged against our word.
Okay. Okay. Madam Mercy, you are coming at a point whereby, of course, the challenge is even for the woman journalists, and you are there as the vice president of Vuja. What do you plan to do in terms of making the atmosphere, the career of journalism much bearable and much profitable for the woman? Because we know for a fact, and you are a journalist yourself, when it comes to the table, especially when negotiating between a woman journalist and a male journalist, even if it's the same task, the same JD, the man stands to be paid a little bit more than the woman. So how do you intend on fighting for the rights of women in the newsrooms?
I'm very honored to be a vice president, and I'm a woman. That is why I've been even urging other women to come on board. I've been yearning for this gender balance for so long. One of the things I want to start with is to make sure that we use these partnerships well. We want to partner with different people. I know we have very many women, and before partnership, we want to call the National Broadcasters Association, these owners of media houses. Let them come on board. We see how we can solve issues of women, how we can take Vuja somewhere towards women, because women, they have a lot of problems. Let us first engage the women first. We engage the people in the media fraternity. Let us sit together with these people in the National Broadcasters Association. They will tell us much, because I know they are suffering. We see sexual harassment.
Correct.
We have to first talk to them what they are passing through, because you cannot treat a disease when you don't know the cause of it. So we have to first reach out to these female journalists. We ask them the problems they're facing. Then we look for a solution. We come back on board. We see also their bosses. We sit together. We see how we can solve all these issues. Number two, most of them are at lower levels. You said some men are paid highly. They're paid highly because of their qualifications.
Even women have qualifications.
Yes,
actually, most of them have better qualifications.
Yes,
than
they have
men.
qualifications. That is why we want to sit down with these national broadcasters, and we ask them, why isn't there a balance? Why this man is paid highly and we see a lady is not paid? We need also scholarships. I know in these partnerships we shall get scholarships from embassies, from our friends. We need them to upgrade for studies, so that you paid highly when you overqualified.
Okay, so before the end of 2 years we'll be seeing that?
Yes.
Women will benefit?
Yes.
All right, okay. I want us to take a look at what the president had to say on Sunday during his State of the Nation address. Of course, he touched on journalism in the country. Let's take a look.
To you, it belongs to us. You have no right to misrepresent our country. You don't have that right. You can only report the truth, but beyond the truth, you have no right. So that one also should be clear.
Your take, sir.
The president, I heard him, I watched him, and I think His Excellency is lacking some facts in regards to what is happening in the media industry. Much as there might be some challenges, but you cannot have a random statement and say the media is not hoping to report facts. That is at least lacking the facts on the side of the president. And we do believe he calls us the Vazukulu. As Judge, it is the right moment for him to really appreciate the work that has been done by the media fraternity in the country. The challenge is why the president insists that the media is not representing, is not giving out the facts, is the lack of information from his side. The government, actually you might mistake it to say that people in government are abdicating their responsibilities, because you and I and her know. On several occasions, we are hosting talk shows, we are giving interviews on the government side, but people are not coming. We struggle to get interviews, we struggle to get government side. There is one government in power, but there are several political parties. Each of these political parties is struggling to get the microphone. But as we want to reach out to the government side, someone is busy, someone says call me later. So we fail in our way of executing the task to get the government side. The president must be aware of the same. In that same press conference, someone from Busoga, from NBS radio in Jinja, posed the question to the president and said, Mr. President, we have a radio station, we call people from your side, they are not coming. What do we do? the president answered the way he answered, and we think it was not satisfying on his side. So we think the media fraternity, the media industry, we are working towards building an informed nation, towards giving the facts. Challenge comes in when the government does not have the right people to give the right image, to give, of course the president says he doesn't need a PR. We think he needs much.
Okay, Madam Namirembe,
yes.
Let's still stick to what the president had to say on journalism, but I think I totally understand where he's coming from, especially now as journalists that we fight with fake news, the trend of fake news. As UJA, now that you're in office, how do you intend on training journalists on, you know, just being very objective and standing the front so that we can, at the end of the day, attain our credibility? Because in the face of social media, then it's really tricky. Even for us as journalists, it's tricky, especially when it comes to breaking hard news. So moving forward, what's the strategy?
Now, most people in the public and even in the government, they do not differentiate between ethical journalism and the yellow journalism. You saw what happened when Abiliga died. Most of the people broke the story before we people, the ethical journalists, gave the news to the people. Correct. So let us first differentiate. And for that, as people you voted in this Uganda Association, we are looking for trainings, and we are going to train Ugandans. We are going to train these people in the media fraternity. We had said that let us start in the 100 days. Let us train all the journalists. I know we have seniors in this association. We have seniors outside there. We are going to engage them in this, so that because the government is saying this, but they also have their side. Because if a person from radio says we called you and you didn't come, we also want to engage them as we train. Let the government come on board. Why are they saying like that? Because we have journalists. In our ethical guiding principles, we say we report the truth, and sometimes we leave things behind and we minimize harm. There are some things we leave behind. We are going to do trainings all over the country, regionally, not only in Kampala. We are going to train all the journalists in conjunction with the National Broadcasters Association.
Mr. Bashir, part of your manifesto when you were doing your campaigns for you to be elected was that you will stand to fight for the human rights and the rights of journalists.
Very much.
How do you intend on doing this, especially now that you've been seeing journalists being tortured at their, duty posts as they are executing their duties? How do you intend on doing this?
First things first, we need to first understand what our rights are. You cannot fight for something you don't know. This is what we are coming in to fix. Many of us don't know what our rights are. In these training sessions, this is part of what we are going to be addressing, to understand the media law very well, to appreciate what our guidelines are, not to overstep our borders, because it is a two-way traffic. You cannot implicate someone into something that you don't know. We need to understand what are the boundaries within which we have to operate as an industry. That one must be understood by us. Secondly, communication. We are in the media. We need to talk to those guys. The government, of course, the government has been on the roasting side in regards to clamping down on the rights of the journalists. We are going to engage them in dialogue as people from one family. Of course, we are going to talk. We are going to talk, and we are going to act. What do I mean by we are going to talk and acting? We should listen to these guys, understand why are these things happening on us. We shall give them a second chance. And once we are united, and this is what I'm calling for, from all the media stakeholders, we are going to engage the owners of the media houses on the action element. What do I mean by this? Because of this engagement with the media owners and the media managers, in case we need to take a stand as a united front, it should be felt. Chances have been very high. With an association says we are going to put a blackout on police, for instance, and you find people airing stories. We are going to find ways of contacting the editors and the media managers to make them appreciate the challenges that guys go through in the field. Once we talk with a common voice, we shall put up several measures, hard-hitting measures on those key and particular institutions that harass the journalism fraternity, like blackout, not reporting on the issues they are talking about. This, I know this will go a long way in hurting, not hurting the nation, but hurting those people, because the media fraternity is clamped down. When you look at the International Media Freedom Index now, Uganda, we are ranking amongst those countries that are poorly handling issues to do with the media. So we first talk to ourselves as the media practitioners, we talk to the media managers, we engage the stakeholders, the security apparatus, the government, we talk to them. Then what we don't want to do, we will be forced to do a blackout, and we want this to be a total blackout. You come, you think you are going to talk to us, because we have a we have a common voice, we walk out of the press conference.
That can actually happen?
It can happen.
Okay.
And we've not seen this happen because of the issue I've talked about. Because someone is sent from a media house X, go to the field, bring a story. The editor needs a story. But the editor does not appreciate the pain this person goes through when they are in the field.
Correct.
So we need to first appreciate the efforts these guys are making. We need to make sure that we speak as a common voice, not just reporters, not just the news anchors, but the owners of these media houses. Of course, we are going to find challenges. Some of the media houses are after making money, but we're not going to make money over dead bodies.
All right, okay. Let's go to what you're supposed to do in terms of collaborating with the people that you are contending closely with as you come to a close. Madam Masi, yes, you were contending with 3 contestants at the post of VP, and you came out, you actually garnered 177 votes. The other person got 128 and the other one 105. It was a hotly contested seat. Yes. So moving forward, how do you intend on collaborating with them? Because clearly they also had supporters who are members of the association.
I know these people had good ideas, and I can't say that they were not good, only that I was the best. And I'm hoping to call these people on board. Let them bring the ideas. We can work together. We are not going to leave them behind. The Mr. Lukundo, the Mr. Kasuku, please come back on board. Come back. We are yearning to get that fruit, and that fruit is to have a well-organized Wuja, a united Wuja, improving welfare. So bring your ideas on board. We are going to work together, and I'm going to talk to them one-on-one, personally.
Okay, Mr. Bashir, the situation is not different from you. Actually, for you, it was super hotly contested because Mr. Abubakar garnered 214 while you garnered 223.
Yes.
Those are just a few people in between there.
9.
Imagine that.
Space of 9. Yeah.
So that shows that he also had a huge support base.
Undisputed.
What do you plan on doing in terms of working together with him?
Actually, from the day we started this race of taking over the office of Uja as president, this brother of mine, we've been so tight, so close that some people thought, these guys are not serious. You cannot be competing with someone else. You're sitting in the same vehicle, taking a cup of coffee. We are brothers with Abubakar. Actually, I've always been telling him that, Abu, I'm going through this race. When I go through, I want to work with you. When you go through, please don't leave me behind. This has been the talk, and each of us has been laughing over the same. So Abubakar, I met him I last talked to him on Sunday. We talked at length with a view of interesting him joining us. Abu is a powerful force to reckon with in terms of the media industry. He's been there, he's fallen on the ground, he's lifted guys that have been clobbered in the field. We cannot underestimate the power of Abu. We cannot underestimate the vision he has for the media fraternity. Certainly, yes, I'm calling upon him. He knows this. We are going to work with him. Okay. And this was not just about me. It was about the ideals and the goals we have. So the people chose my goals, and those that chose Abu's goals, we need to see a way of bringing us together under the same roof. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bashir Kazibwe, President-elect Uja, and Madam Masi Namirembe, the VP of Uja. Thank you so much for making time. We hold you to what you have said. 2 years after this, we'll bring you back here and see if you've been able to achieve your goals. Now, of course, that has been the conversation. Journalism is undergoing a revolution, so watch at this pace. That has been it for Morning at 10 TV Solution segment. Keep it here, for we have so much more for you.
Overloaded vehicles are a threat to road safety. It will not only put the driver at risk, but also passengers and other road users. An overloaded vehicle is less stable, difficult to steer, and takes longer to stop, but also can lead to a crash. TWEDECO, every life matters.
This message was brought to you by Viva Energy and NTV Uganda.
What would you define fashion as? It's not something you simply wear.